Alright guys, so we are back today and we're going to be looking at what I think is a fairly interesting topic, and that is going to be ambidextrous 1911 safeties and my quest to find the best one. And let me tell you, it is a long, expensive quest. And the reason I'm making this video is to hopefully save you all on the expensive part and the long part and help you make the right choice the first time, because these things are not cheap. They each have to be fitted to the gun you're putting them into. And so you want to know what you're getting into and you want to make the right choice the first time. So we'll kind of go over my journey, because I tried all three of these and actually ended up selecting a fourth one. First one I tried was this right here. This is a, this is a Wilson Combat. This is, I believe, what would be known as a Swenson style safety. I don't think that's what Wilson calls it. I think they call it like just Ambi safety or classic Ambi safety or something like that. But this is the type that has this nub right here. That is how the right side of the safety is held onto the gun. This piece right here will ride behind your grip on your 1911, and the grip, you know, covering over this piece is what actually keeps it from falling off the side of the gun, because this attachment is not very tight. You can see right there is how your pieces fit together. It's not really what I would call a super secure arrangement. Very little bearing surface there, and they just kind of fit together like that. And literally this nub right here riding under the grip is what keeps it from falling out of the gun. These paddles were fairly comfortable. I didn't have anything against these paddles, but this safety I'm wanting to say was 40 or 50 bucks maybe. And I used it for a while and just decided that I was looking for something a little nicer, a little more solid. This thing doesn't really inspire a whole lot of confidence. This thing will scratch the crap out of the side of the gun underneath the grips, of course. And I don't know, it's just not confidence inspiring. It's not machined. The other two we're going to look at are like all machined. This one is cast parts, and I mean, it's fine for the price, it's fine. But I was looking for a really well built, fully machined Ambi safety that would last a lifetime. And these kind are known to loosen up just based on how small of a connection point the two halves have. They're known to kind of loosen up over time. So I started doing some research and I came across two basic types that are recommended for like the high-end Ambi 1911 safeties. And that's going to be the Evolution Gunworks safety and the Wilson Combat Bulletproof Ambi safety. This is a EGW HD Ambi safety is what they call it. And the Wilson Combat Bulletproof Ambi safety. So I did some research. They're roughly the same price. They're like $150, $60, $70. Not cheap. Not something you want to have to buy both of, which, as you can see, I ended up having to try both of them. But I will tell you, I went with this one first. I tried this one out first. And so how this one is set up and how it works. You can see it comes with 2 pins. One is a hammer pin and one is a sear pin. This pin just replaces the rounded one on the gun. On most 1911s, they'll come with a domed end, and this is just flat so that the safety can ride over it nicely. But then this pin is what actually holds the safety into the gun. You can see on your right side, and I'm actually going to take this apart to show you a little better. All right, so I've got it apart. So this right here is your right side safety, and what actually holds it into the gun is this pin. And you can see here, hopefully if I can get the lighting just right, you can see how this pin is shaped, and it fits into the safety like that. And so the safety rides on it and it cannot come out. And I might have to zoom out a little bit. There you go. You can see how this pin slots in there. And so because of that, we don't need that big protrusion that rides under the grip, because we've got this slotted pin that actually retains safety. Now, as far as the attachment method for the 2 halves, you can see we've got a similar setup to the first Wilson Combat Safety, but these are both machined pieces. They're not cast or anything, they're machined, so it's a very tight lockup to begin with. But it also comes with this steel tube that actually rides over that connection. So even without that tube, I mean, these pieces, you can see how tight that is, and I mean, there's no up and down movement whatsoever. And they're fairly difficult to pull apart. But once you add on this tube and then put them together, there's no movement for the connection to even loosen. And the reason I had to pause the camera a minute ago to get this off is because it took me about 3 or 4 minutes to get it apart. It is so tight and so impossible to get apart that I believe that this connection method, I believe this safety would never loosen up. The reason I decided I didn't like this particular safety is this is the wide paddle. These paddles are just ridiculous. They're in the way, they're just terrible. I don't know, I guess if you were shooting some kind of competition or something, you might want paddles this wide. Or if you were going to shape them to your liking and then re-blue the piece, or if you had a stainless one and you were going to shape them to your liking, it might make sense. But the way these come, they're unusable. I don't know why anyone would want paddles this wide, because they're just ridiculous. So I like the connection method on this, but I hated the paddles. So I started looking and researching some more. And the next one I came across, I decided I'd give the Bulletproof a try, the Wilson Combat Bulletproof, because you can get it in a tactical lever configuration. These are extremely blended, extremely smoothed over paddles. Very comfortable. These are my favorite paddles by far. And it's got a little bit of a different connection method of the 2 halves, as you can see there. They've got big flats, and it slots in kind of like that. This is a pretty secure method, but for whatever reason on my particular gun, it didn't fit. It also is held on, the right side is held on by this same type of pin that slots in. But these pieces, when I put on my 1911, for some reason, they wouldn't push all the way together. Like, you know, if you put these all the way together, like force them, there's no seams and there's no up and down movement between the pieces. For some reason on my gun, they would only go together most of the way, and there was wobble up and down. And so I don't really know what that's about. I have a theory. These did not come with the pin to the flat sear pin to let the safety sit a little closer to the gun. I tried one of those and it was an improvement, but it still just wouldn't fit all the way together when it was actually in the gun like it does right now. So that put that one out. So now I've spent a huge amount of money and none of these Ambi safeties have worked for me. And so I was kind of at a quandary as to what to do. I liked the paddle of the Wilson Combat Bulletproof, by far the best, but I liked the connection method of the EGW. It was just so solid and I knew it would last a lifetime. And so I finally decided to try what I'm sticking with, which was the EGW Slim paddle. And really, the paddles are closer to this first cheaper Wilson Combat. They're still not as good. The actual paddles themselves still probably aren't as good as the tactical levers on the Wilson Combat Bulletproof, but they're pretty good. I like them. They're not, you know, ridiculously wide paddles, and it's got a nice audible tactile engagement. There's no wobble between the two halves. And so the EGW Slim lever is what I would recommend as probably the best ambidextrous 1911 safety. I don't think that it's even possible for these two halves to ever loosen up on each other. I'm pretty sure that it will last for your entire life and, you know, the next 150 years, however long your gun lasts. I believe that the safety won't be the first thing to fail on the gun. And so, in conclusion, in my opinion, don't even waste your time with one of these like $40 ones. It's fine, but it's just not a good method of retaining the right side safety, and they're just not very nicely made. It will loosen up eventually. Unless you're planning on shaping your own paddles, do not waste your time with the wide lever EGW. It's just ridiculous. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, look how far it sticks out off the side of the gun. I don't know why anyone would ever want that. Maybe very specialized circumstances, but don't waste your time with that one. The Wilson Combat Bulletproof, like I said, I really, really like these tactical levers. They're nice and smooth and blended. Everything on this is kind of smooth and nice and blended, but I'm just not as big of a fan of the attachment method for the two halves, and it didn't really work on my Colt special edition government model for whatever reason. So like I said, the EGW Slim lever is what I ended up going with. I think it looks fantastic on this gun. I think it fits the kind of retro modern look of this gun, and the two halves are nice and tight, and I don't think they'll ever loosen up, and it's nice and clicky and solid, and I think that this will be the way to go. I think you'll be happiest with this EGW Slim Paddle HD Ambi safety. So that's my opinion. I hope that will save you all some frustration and a lot of money, because like I said, these things aren't cheap. So that would be my recommendation. I've had the best luck with it. It fit. When I fit it to the gun, the two halves snapped together, and it's been there since. And it's just nice. I like it. You can see here. Whoops. There's that flat pin to let it ride over it. So hopefully this helps you all out, and we will see you all in the next video. Take care. Good luck. Hope you get your 1911 hooked up with a nice Ambi safety that'll work for you. Thanks.